What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of High Mythology, the show where I get higher than an eagle sitting over your roasted oxen dinner, and we tell you guys silly stories from mythology and folklore. Tonight, we will be bringing you the story of Iduns Apples from Norse mythology.
The title of it is actually called The
Theft. The Theft of Iduns Apples.
There you go.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
You fucking stole my apple. Remember how pissed I was when somebody stole my cinnamon roll?
You don't steal people's apples or their cinnamon rolls. And you never steal people's apple cinnamons. That's for sure.
You don't steal Kim's cinnamon rolls. No. Period.
That's how you get a blood eagle drawn upon your back. Blood eagle motherfuckers around here.
I don't know if I'd do that over.
I don't know if I'd blood eagle someone over a cinnamon roll. I feel like that takes a slightly stronger offense to require a blood eagle.
No, but you definitely deserve a slap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A good slap.
Just yeah. I think about that missing cinnamon roll like all the time.
All the time. It still taunts me to this day. It could have been
in my stomach. It could have been.
One day in the sagas of Kim, that will be a story.
The hunt for the cinnamon roll.
The saga of the cinnamon roll. And for years afterwards, she still longed for that precious Cinnabon.
Well, it's because it was a Cinnabon roll,
It was a Cinnabon roll.
Like, they closed down.
Cinnabon, yeah.
They went out of business.
Yeah, no Cinnabon in our small town.
I know. I have to drive like 2 hours to go get a fucking Chipotle burrito or some fucking Panda Express or Jack in the Box. Let you fuckers know.
It's all fresh local food. Ugh.
Sorry, it's close to dinner time, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously, we're starting to think about some food.
No, we just got the munchies. I was mainly thinking about that cinnamon roll that's still missing.
The cinnamon roll. Still missing from life.
Exactly. All right, so.
Yeah.
Oh, this. Yeah, are you going to tell me to take it away?
Oh, take it away, Kimbo.
All right. So, very early, one summer morning, Odin, Loki, and Honir crossed into Midgard, happy in one another's company, and intent upon exploring some part of the earth not already known to them. In the pale blue, slightly pale green light that gives to an edge of everything, the three friends crossed the desolate reach of Grit, patrolled only by the winds.
Somebody just say loser?
What the fuck does that mean? Well, you're going to have to assume back then they didn't. Seeing how it says, before men in Midgard had stirred and woken.
Yeah, they still ain't stirred yet.
The gods were striding over shrubby, undulated ground. Then they tramped around a great mass of spiky, dead, dark rocks and headed for the summit of the Conceal Mountain.
Watch out for the dead rock. Dark rock.
Conical Mountain.
Conical Mountain.
Conical. That's with a C, by the way.
Conical with a C.
All day they trekked and talked, and in the evening they followed the course of a rapid, milky river from the glacier down into the valley.
So milky.
There's just a giant nipple
pouring
just
it all
out.
Just pouring it out. What was his name? Ymir's nipple.
Yeah, pretty much.
By Ymir's nipple. It is a river of milk.
All right, so the valley, I'm just going to pass on to you. The valley was a jigsaw of fields, yellow, brown, and green.
Wow.
Okay. So Odin, Loki, and Honir had not brought any food with them, and were getting to feel a little uneasy about it when they had the luck to come across a herd of oxen. That's some fucking serious luck there.
Yeah. Oxen score.
You're traveling to a fucking place you've never seen before, you know what I mean? Nobody's touched it. They didn't even know they fucking created it. Boom.
Boom.
Hey. You're lucky. There's some oxen who actually made it over here.
There's a ox.
So, while Loki sized them up, he chose one and killed it. Odin and Honir gathered fallen branches from a grove of stunned oaks and made a fire. But they cut up the ox, but then they cut up the ox into huge pieces and put the pieces into the heart of the fire. The smell ravished the gods, and they could barely wait to eat.
Yeah.
That sounded creepy. As soon as they thought the joints were roasted, They scattered the fire and pulled the meat out of the flames. Odin says,
"It's not ready. We must be so high that a little time seem long to us."
Loki and Honir raked up the brands and put the meat back into the fire again. Suddenly, a chill wind channeled down the valley, and although the sun still looped across the western sky with the wolf at its heels, all of the heat had drained out of the summer day. The three gods wrapped their cloaks around them and sat and waited. Honir says,
"Do you think it's ready? What do you think?" "What do you think? I should find out?"
Well, Loki says,
"One of these days you will choke on your own uncertainty."
and then he leapt to his feet and scattered the fire for a second time, saying,
"It must be cooked by now."
Odin took a piece out of the flames, but said,
"It's still not ready, and it ought to be, damn it."
To this, Honir replies,
"There's nothing wrong with this fire."
and Loki replies to him,
"It must be cooked by now." And yet your dinner is raw. Now as raw as it was to begin with.
Still wrong line?
No, you got the right line finally, sorry. Just laughing.
Loki
sorry.
totally turned into fucking Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
We must censor television. Yeah.
Loki looked at the meat and grimacing. Odin says,
"Well, something is working against it."
and suddenly a voice from above them says,
"Rock, something up here, cocksucker.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Let me eat my fill, and your ox will be cooked." Rock. Rock.
I fucked that up. Okay. So the three gods at once looked up into the leafy branches of the oak tree above the fire, and they looked and saw an eagle sitting there. And it wasn't a small one either. After the eagle's reply,
Rock.
the three upturned faces, excuse me, I'm sorry. Where am I?
Upturned
sorry, where am I?
faces.
I'm in a back room.
I'm in a room. There's walls all around me, man. I'm freaking out.
The gods conferred to one another and were of one mind, saying,
"Since we are fucking starving, we agree. There is nothing else we can do. None of us practice bird law."
and then the eagle screeched. Thank you. That's a parrot voice. It flapped its immense wings and swooped down from the tree and settled over the fire. At once it snatched up both of the shoulders and both parts of the rump as well. Then it eyed the gods and, crouching at the root of the oak, began to eat it. Loki was so angry that he raised his staff and rammed it into the rammed it.
Rammer rotted it right up in there.
He raised his staff and rammed it into the bird's body. The eagle was thrown off balance and dropped the meat. It screeched again and then took off to the air. One end of the staff was firmly lodged into the eagle's back, and to his alarm, Loki was found that he was unable to let go of the other. So he pulled and twisted and yelled, but to no purpose. His hands were stuck in the staff. Or stuck to the staff, excuse me. And the eagle flew at a great speed, and it took care to fly close enough to the ground to make sure that Loki did not have a smooth ride.
Just dragging him along.
The trickster was dragged across the floor of Midgard. His knees and ankles banged into boulders, and his legs and feet were scratched by the gourd bushes and thorns until they were bleeding.
Fucking stings.
That's what Loki
That
shouted.
fucking stings.
The eagle took no notice, and it dragged Loki on its backside across the glacier until he was all but skinned.
Man, Mercy, mercy!
He thought his outstretched arms were going to be wrenched from their sockets. The eagle says to Loki,
Rock! Only if you will swear.
Loki shouts,
What? Anything, damn it! Come on, man, I'll suck your dick!
and the eagle replies,
Rock! Whoa! No. I want you to swear to bring Idun and her apples out of Asgard. Rock!
Loki closes his eyes and pressed his lips together and said nothing. It looks like he was about to take a shit, huh?
Yeah.
Vinegar-
These lips are for sucking dick only, not talking.
Vinegar face trying to push one out.
Hold on while we're up here. I want to shit on someone. Fly me over Odin. Fly me over Odin.
Do it.
Do it.
He was now that the eagle could be only one of the giants. Oh, wow. He knew now that the eagle could only be one of the giants in disguise.
Disguise.
I'm sorry.
Bum, bum, bum.
The letters got all tiny suddenly. Should I get some glasses? The eagle swooped again, and Loki could hardly bear the pain on his kneecaps and shins and ankles and toes, cracked against the rocks and boulders and scree. Loki implored.
Mercy, I promise I'll get the apples.
And the eagle says,
Rock. 7 days hence, bring her across the Bifrost, when the sun is halfway between the east and the west.
Loki says,
You mean noon? Okay, I promise.
The trickster found that his hands were at once set free and fell to the stony ground. Very slowly, he picked himself up and looked at his wounds, and then he gathered... Oh. And then, in the gathering darkness, he began to limp back towards his companions.
My knees are all skint up.
But they are fucked up as shit. Definitely gonna need some surgery, bro.
Yeah. Or a Band-Aid. I think he just needs a Band-Aid. Like they're upselling his pain. He really just had like a skinned knee. He's like, I'll do anything. Just let me like sit down and hold on to this leg and rub it for like a minute.
Probably less than that. It was probably just a stub toe.
Stub toe, yeah.
We're just gonna keep going. 7 days pass, and Loki found Idun wandering through the sloping field above her hall. She was singing softly to herself and was quite carefree
Killing me
as the
softly.
sun caressed her.
I love the touch of the sun on my breast.
Wow. Sunlight. Childlike she moved, untroubled by the world's troubles around her, or petty squabbles, suffering, savage wars, and always time passing. Her basket of golden apples was looping over one of her arms. Loki cries out.
Idun! Oh, Idun!
It looks like Bragi's wife paused and turned. And said,
Oh, I think did I skip something? Oh, this is still Loki. Yeah.
wow, sorry.
I've come
Loki
in
says,
once. You can't imagine. I could scarcely believe it myself.
Idun says,
God, Loki, slow down. I can barely understand you. You just keep rambling on like this with all this nonsense.
deep in the forest just beyond the Bifrost, I came across... Oh, shit. That's you.
Deep in the forest, just beyond the Bifrost, I found a tree unlike any other I've seen in the 9 realms. It stands in a glade and glows with the soft light of gold.
I feel really stupid. Sorry. Oh, shit.
And yeah, because we don't have video too, I feel like I should have to let all of you know. In order to perfect the fucking Cobra Commander voice, I do have to throw both of my hands up like it's a fucking 90s cartoon.
Yeah, every time he speaks as Loki,
Ah!
I like see out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, what is he fucking doing? All right, he's really into his character.
We must take down the G.I. Joes.
So Idun opened her gray eyes wide, and Loki went on to describe his find so carefully that anyone less trusting would have known it came straight out of his head. He says,
Idun, it bears golden apples, the same as yours. And perhaps like yours, they contain unending youth.
Idun smiled and nodded in agreement.
I am known for my youthful visage. I added that on my own.
Oh, nice. To that, Loki says,
Don't forget your apples. We need to compare them.
and so he leads the way over the sunlit fields and out of Asgard. They hurried past Heimdall's hall, and then Loki took Idun by the hand and walked with her over the Bifrost. The flames danced around their feet, and they were unharmed. The eagle was waiting, and as soon as Idun set foot in Midgard, it rose from the thicket. It beat its dark wings, swooped on the goddess, and snatched her up.
Snatch.
It carried her and her apples straight over the seas to
Not my
Jotunheim.
apples.
For as Loki had suspected, the eagle was none other than the giant Thiazi.
Fiazi!
Dog.
Fiazi!
Thiazi lifted Idun into his storm home in Thermaheim.
Thermaheim.
High in the mountains. Super high up there.
Like
Close to the peak.
Yeah. Like high as we are. Wait.
He says, gloating to her.
Here you will stay. Without you, without your apples, the gods will age.
Sorry, I still had some birds stuck in my throat. And I will remain young forever.
When they missed Idun, the gods at once grew extremely anxious. They knew that without her magic apples, they would wither and grow old. And indeed, they soon began to crumble inside their clothes. Wow.
Oh.
Just the inside of their clothes were crumbling.
Oh. Now they're shriveling. God, they're turning into old people inside their clothes.
And to seem smaller than they were before. Their skin hung over their bones. Bone houses. The skin hung over the bone houses.
Yeah,
Like
God, that's what I'm gonna call skeletons from now on.
Bone houses.
Bone houses. How's your bone house feeling?
They were bunched or puffy or wrinkled and stretched so tight that it looked as though the bone would break through. The eyes of one became became bloodshot, and the eyes of another misty. One god's hands began to tremble, and one lost all of his hair. Probably Thor.
Yeah, Thor's or fucking what's his name? Thor's wife.
Oh, yeah, sure.
She lost her hair again. Not my hair again.
Not again. And one cannot control his bowels. That must have been.
Oh, Jesus.
Their joints creaked and ached, and they felt utterly weary. The gods felt the spring in their step and the strength of their bodies ebbing them from hour by hour by hour by hour by hour by hour
by hour by hour by hour by hour. How many hours were they just sitting there getting old?
I guess 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. Just sitting there. Oh, we should really go get those
I guess time
apples.
really flies in fucking Asgard, huh?
Yeah, time flies in Asgard.
Then the minds of the gods lost their skip and started to soften. One became outspoken about the shortcomings of the others, and one began to ramble like an idiot. That one's me.
One became a staunch Republican.
But most of the gods grew quiet and did not trouble to say many things that they would have said before. Their minds are deteriorating.
Yeah, they're getting all old. Wow.
And they were all oppressed by the same concern with time, and the same fear.
Heimdall, open the Bifrost. What?
What
Open
is
the
that?
Bifrost. Huh?
A little louder.
Over the Bifrost. I can't hear you.
When they did speak, they repeated themselves. Huh?
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 I said open the Bifrost. I heard you. Huh?
Or they began sentences and did not complete them. Hey, did you hear?
He so shall he be worthy.
Where's the coffee? pot? Why is the microwave?
Time to open.
The summer sunlight shone over Asgard.
I want some sweet tea.
Floculent.
Floculently.
Floculent.
Floculently. The sun shone down upon us floculently.
Clouds drifted overhead, and the minds of the gods wandered even as they worried about their old age.
I'm so old.
Why don't you fucking do something about it then?
I feel like it's time to start thinking about life insurance policies.
Odin knew that he must rally his own strength and summon the gods to council. Everyone in Asgard made their way to Gladsheim, a dismal, straggling procession under the sun.
Oh, we're old.
Of all the gods and goddesses and their servants, only Idun and Loki were missing. Allfather looked at the great gathering of stooping, shuffling, and mumbling figures. He called out, Odin.
We must find Idun. You see how it is without her and her apples. They'll only get worse. Before you know it, we'll be playing bingo and watching Murder, She Wrote. Who saw her last?
Heimdall's servant says,
I saw Loki take her over the Bifrost. Just saying.
And then there was a deep silence in Gladsheim.
Huh?
No one doubted that Loki was the cause of what has happened to them. Odin says,
There's only one thing to do. We must go to the country kitchen buffet for the early bird special. Then, no. Well, we gotta capture Loki. That's right, Loki.
Weary as they were, the gods searched for the trickster. They looked in every hall, in every outbuilding, and in every corpse and corner of Asgard. Why would they be going in corpse?
Where is she? I got to check inside your corpse.
Sorry. Every copse.
Copse. Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know why I thought I saw an R in there.
Let me check your corpse.
Oh, man, am I dyslexic? Shit. It's okay. Anyway. They all knew that their lives depended on it. At least, they found him At last, they found him asleep in Idun's own field, and they seized and bound him before he could do anything about it. Loki was
bound.
Loki was brought to Vladikstraf.
Vladikstraf.
Vala, SKJ,
Vala Sklarjov?
Yeah. Sklarjov.
Sklarjov.
Avakar.
Vala Sklarjov. Sounds right. If you're Scandinavian, get back to us.
Anyway, they brought Loki there, and he was protesting. And there, Odin at once charged him with leading Idun out of Asgard. He yelled at her.
Bring her back. Bring her. You bring her back, youngster. Oh.
Yeah, he keeps
Your
going.
choice is easy to explain, huh? It's easy one to understand. Do.
Loki says,
It is true that I walked out of Asgard with Idun, but I had no choice.
Loki told them how the eagle had carried him off when he was trekking with Odin and Honir was none other than the giant Thiazi.
Thiazi.
And I had to agree to those terms to escape with my life.
Odin says, after he drinks his beer.
Did you have to fulfill him? Huh?
Loki's eyes gleamed red and green. And Odin said,
Since you consort with eagles, we will draw a blood eagle on your back.
No!
And your rib cage will split open
No!
like wings.
and Odin clenched his teeth as he said that. Like rings.
Like wings.
Loki cries out.
I will find Idun and her apples. If Freya will give me her falcon skin, I will fly at once to Jotunheim and bring her back.
I swear.
I swear.
From the moon in the Sorry. I figure that's how he's getting his
I
fucking
swear.
focus. Then Odin shook and released Loki and Freya. Beautiful Freya, her face like a pouch now. And her hair falling out, went directly to her hall with him. She pulled down the falcon skin hanging over one of the beams. And Loki says,
You're not so pretty now that you're bald. Oh, I feel bad about that.
Freya said nothing, and her body just shook. She wept tears of gold and handed Loki the falcon skin.
I feel really bad about that now.
Thrymheim, perched on the top of the precious
Sugar.
I don't think that says precious. Precipitous. Shkur. And seemed actually to grow out of the dark rock.
Well, yeah, that is some deep stuff right there.
The winds whirled around it and found their way through the walls into the cold, draughty rooms. Draughty rooms. When Loki reached it in the early morning, he was fortunate enough to find the giant Thiazi was not at home. He had gone off fishing, and his daughter Scotty had gone with him.
Gone fishing. I like to imagine that he showed up to one of those generic signs, too, that just said, like, gone fishing, back tomorrow.
Loki discovered Idun in a smoky room, huddled over the fire. She turned to him, and at once the schemer extended his falcon wings.
Sorry about all the smoke. I've smoked 3 packs of Virginia Slims in here while I was waiting for rescue.
He murmured the runes, the magic words, and then turned Idun into a nut. Then he picked her up between his claws and flew off as fast as he could. In a little time, Thiazi and his daughter returned from the day's fishing.
Hey, Thiazi,
when
the Italian giant.
Nice. Is that how he sounds?
Yeah.
He turned Italian suddenly.
He turned Italian all of a sudden. Hey, it's
A
me,
parrot caught in
Thiazi.
his throat, and then he just turns. In a little time, Thiazi and his daughter returned from the day's fishing. When the giant found that Idun was no longer there, he roared and hurled his pails to the ground.
Fuck these pails.
Bitches. He knew there was no way in which the goddess could have ever escaped from Thrymheim without any help.
Yeah.
We know, bitch. We know.
Sneaky.
Then, Thiazi donned his eagle skin for a third time
Eagle skin, go!
and set off across the mountains and the high, lifeless wilderness. The distance from the mountains and the high, lifeless... Oh, shit. I just wrote the same line. Sorry. The distance from Thrymheim to Asgard was immense, and the eagle was stronger than the falcon. As Loki drew closer to Asgard, so did Thiazi draw closer to Loki.
Hey, am I right on your tail?
It's a me, Thiazi.
It's a me, Thiazi, the Italian Nordic giant pirate parrot.
Pirate parrot.
Eagle.
Nice. When he sat in... I'm assuming Loki. When he sat in Hilskav.
Oh, Odin. What is it called?
Tilskavj.
Hildeskav. His fucking chair. His throne that lets him basically do the Heimdall where he can see everything.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
When he sat in the Hilskav, looking over the... I'm not going to get that right. Looking over the 9 worlds, nothing escaped Odin. No movement of man, no giant or elf or dwarf, birds or in the air, or animals on the earth, or fish in the water. What other gods could not see at all Father fixed and followed it with his single eye.
Yeah, looking down there.
Now he saw Loki flying at great speed towards Asgard, and the eagle Thiazi chasing him. At once he ordered all the gods and goddesses and their servants, the worn out and short-winded as they were, to hurry out of Asgard with bundles of plain shavings, all of the wood that the servants of the gods prepared to kindle fires in their great halls. He yelled,
What? Pile them against the walls. I think Loki's coming. If I remember, that's what we were doing.
The still summer air began to hum, as if an unseen storm was near or about to burst out on them. It seemed to throb, and then the giants and the goddesses, it began to throb, and then the gods and the goddesses saw the falcon. Sorry.
Falcon!
I had a moment there. And then a huge eagle close behind it. Wow. My bad, I'm just losing it at the end here. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. It's close to dinner time. I'm still thinking about that cinnamon roll, man. I can't help it. That fucking cinnamon roll.
Sagas.
I'm like, where's that cinnamon roll? Sticky, icky, yummy, yum.
Where is the Bond of Cinna?
I know. Why did you leave me? From a great height, the falcon dived down over the walls of Asgard, still holding the nut between its claws. Odin yells.
Light the shavings!
And then the flames leapt up, almost unseen in the bright sunlight. The eagle was so close behind the falcon that he could not stop himself. And he flew straight through the flames. His wings caught fire, and Thiazi blundered into... Oh, is it blundered? Yeah, blundered into Asgard, and he fell into the ground in torment. Then the gods stumbled back through the gates into their citadels and quickly killed him there. Loki threw off Freya's falcon skin, and he looked at the gray, aged, and ancient ones pressed around him, and scornfully laughing in their faces. Then the sky traveler bent over his trophy, cradled it between his hands, and softly spoke to the runes. Idun stood there, young and supple and smiling.
I'm so supple.
And she moved innocently among the ailing gods.
Apples? Anybody want some apples?
And offered them apples.
Would anybody like some apples? I've got apples here if anybody wants to eat some apples. They may make you young again, just like me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
You want some notes on this?
Oh, yeah. So I got some info, a little side info on this story. I hope you all enjoyed it. That was straight up pretty old school style.
That was pretty damn close to the original.
Yeah, pretty close to the original.
That's actually...
Yeah, it's actually just a translation.
Yeah.
Because, so the only actual detailed version of the myth as with many others, is provided by Snorri Sturluson in his Prose Edda, which is like the fucking place to go for a lot of the actual sagas. But it had already been in circulation for at least 300 years in much the same format. One of the court poets of Harold fucking Finehair, if you watch Vikings,
Oh shit.
motherfucking tattoo motherfucker, the first king of all Norway.
Yeah. I remember that shit. I love Vikings. That's a great show.
He was Theodulf of Haven, and he devoted 1/4 of his shield poem to Holston, the fucking the poem. Yeah, sorry. To that myth, and 1/4 to Thor's duel with Hungnir. The remaining 2/4 are missing. So yeah, there's still half of Harold's shield that hasn't been found, and a lot of, if you don't know, a lot of the sagas and shit, people would print their sagas on their fucking shield.
Yeah.
So you would carve different sagas on your shield. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy fucking awesome.
Crazy awesome.
The story of Kim on a shield. It
Yeah.
would look so...
It would involve that cinnamon roll.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The missing cinnamon roll.
The missing cinnamon roll. This is actually...
How she lives so far from the best fucking...
from
fast
the
foods.
Cinnabon. There was no Cinnabon near her, but still, she found a way. Yeah. What is the other cool fact? Oh, this is the only surviving myth about Idun. Named by Snorri as one of the chief goddesses. And honestly, it says that everyone wishes that there were more myths about her. It is probable that Idun was originally one of the Vanir, a goddess of fertility, youth, and death. Thus, the Eddadic poem Lokashana. Loki accuses her of being so wanton that she made love to her brother's murderer in Skirnir's journey. Her golden apples are connected with Freya in some way also. Yeah. And then there's the other thing, which if you are tripping out on the golden apples because you're either a mythology buff that likes to get around the board, or you've been a regular listener, and golden apples seems very familiar to you, that would be because there are... it is a similarity to Hesperides, but it is found to be unrelated. So the golden apples of Hesperides that Hercules had to get in Greek mythology, basically there's that, and then there's a Scottish version and an Irish version of golden apples, but they all seem to be completely developed on their own without any contact. So it's more likely that they all either came from one separate source, or each group basically made up a similar story about golden apples, because the golden apples in both the other myths also give you eternal youth.
I feel like there's an apple in almost every religion.
Yeah, apples are pretty popular.
We should do that.
Actually, yeah, we might just do an apple episode. Why not?
Just find apples everywhere.
Because there's apples everywhere.
We'll even go Christian style for you guys.
It's all a Sturgo. Assassin's Creed, man, it's real. We live in the Matrix. Don't believe anything you say. Except for the fact that our reference for today's episode was the Norse myths, introduced and retold by Kevin Crossley Holland. And it's from the Pantheon Fairy Tale and Folklore Library. And it's actually pretty awesome because this wasn't even just a reference. He just collects the stories, and you can actually read them and all of that. So it's beautiful stuff. You may have seen it, may not. We've got some merchandise coming out or that came out. So if you're all about the t-shirts, any cool shit like that, we're making them. If you are a fucking big time high mythology fan, I request that you hit us up and tell us your favorite high mythology quote to have on a t-shirt, because we will put it on a t-shirt so you can wear it. And we'll wear it, because I like t-shirts, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just a t-shirt guy.
Pew pew, motherfucker.
Pew pew, yeah. There's all kinds of... We're gonna have some good shirts for you guys and stuff, and hopefully you like and enjoy it. And
Kim's about to jump on board with the fucking editing on.
Yeah, Kim's
photos.
gonna start
I'm
making
good at that,
some
at least.
good pictures and whatnot. And also, we're looking into getting some video to go along with it, even if it's just kind of pictures and whatnot. Give you guys something silly, something silly yet relevant to look at while you're watching our.
So you have a better
listening.
mental image of what's fucking happening. I feel.
Yeah. Give you a mental image of it. Be sure to like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Notification buttons. If you're a YouTuber, hit the button.
So you don't miss anything.
Yeah.
Don't miss out.
Yeah, because we're gonna keep coming at you guys with stuff, and I hope you like it, because we're gonna keep doing it till you get fed up with it. So
this is true.
Yeah, we love you guys.
We're here for the long run.
We're in it for the long run.
There's so many stories.
Yeah, we picked mythology, and I did a list yesterday, and Still Jeff from our guest on this podcast and co-host of Chewed Up and Spit Out with me. He looked at me and said, "You have just put down 1.5 years worth of work on a piece of paper. Like, it's just that easy."
Yeah, I filled out 3 of these fucking 5 subject notebooks.
Yeah, but it's
2 of them.
Yeah, so we're gonna have plenty of stuff. Also, we're gonna be messing around with something new, so look for info on that coming through the Howley Boys channels very shortly. Nice. Yeah. Very nice. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.